Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this edition of Extra Time. Casey, Craig, Seb in studio. We've got Jules with us as well. Thank you very much for your questions. They have come in aplenty. First one comes from Casey Keller's hair. Craig, will Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic both score more goals than Eden Hazard this season?
You're missing the sarcasm of this tweet, aren't you?
We should note that the fans of this show continue to come up with great Twitter handles related to the show. There's Craig Burley's therapist is one of them, I think.
Yeah. Teeth.
Yeah. Craig Burley's missing
Paul
teeth is
Marner's
another.
bugle.
Yeah,
I think the irony of this tweet is I may have called Tammy Abraham Tammy Abrahams.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got it.
Christian Pulisic. So
clever.
Generally, I don't have to explain that to people, but so I just have to explain it to the host today.
Well, sometimes the jokes go.
It's your
over my
bad
head on
back,
this
isn't
show.
it? You're not quite yourself today.
I'm in
Facts.
really quite a bit of pain, which is usual on this show, but for different reasons. Maximus asks, Jules,
Get up and walk around.
Jules, do you think your mate Pogba should be courtside at the Miami Heat while he's, speaking of, rehabilitating from injury?
I mean, he obviously has had a few days off. That's why he traveled over there. He didn't go with no authorization and just like this going. It's a bit like when Griezmann had a weekend off when Barca didn't play the Clasico against Real Madrid and went to Brooklyn to watch the NBA. They're both big NBA fans. I mean, yeah, if you tell me during his rehabilitation, maybe it's not the best thing that he could have done to travel all the way across the Atlantic to go and see a basketball match and come back. Okay, I see your point. But the guy's been injured for 5 weeks or something. Maybe, doing something else, changing his mind a little bit and just doing rehab and going to the training ground and doing treatment and this and that might be good as well for him. Maybe help him to come back maybe a bit quicker. I don't know. So I would want to think that it's not that big a deal.
Alonzo asks, will Craig wear a kilt next summer if Scotland get through the group stage?
They're not there yet.
Yeah.
They have the lifeline.
They have a parachute via the Nations League, but no, probably not.
No?
Can't stand
When was the last time you wore a kilt?
a wedding.
Yeah.
Would there be any, like if they made a final, would you wear a kilt?
There had to be a bet or something.
If Scotland make the Euro 2020 finals, I'll wear a kilt.
Boom, it's on tape. It's on tape.
I'll wear a kilt.
Can't take it back.
100%.
All right, this next question comes from Olayinka. He says, I remember Casey Keller from Saudi 89 Under-20 World Youth Championships and afterwards. Tell him some of us in Nigeria still remember his goalkeeping heroics back then. Where does he see Christian Pulisic in 5 years?
Oh, I think there was.
Think he'll still be at Chelsea?
I think so. I think there was a big panic, right, at the beginning of this season for Christian, and he was kind of out of the side. And it's like, hey, everybody just slow down a little bit. He's obviously gotten a good run in the side. He's scoring goals. He's doing well. But really, I mean, when Craig will attest to this, how difficult it is to stay in a top side for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. He's young. He's got all the talent in the world. We wish him the best of luck. If you could be at Chelsea starting for 5, 6 years, it would be brilliant.
This truly is a global show, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Somebody from Nigeria is writing in about a tournament from
In 89,
in 89
yep.
from Saudi Arabia
About an
American goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We lost to Nigeria in the semifinal.
You lost to Nigeria?
Yes.
In Saudi Arabia?
Correct.
Right.
And I had a lot of correspondence from Nigerians. Thank you for all your letters over the years back to that match.
Really?
It shows you.
How many saves you make? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Come on, you remember.
No, I kind of made a little mistake on the.
Oh, really?
In extra time, I kind of got caught in no man's land coming
Who
across.
else in that team really went to the top? Was there a few?
Or in that tournament, do you remember anybody from that tournament? There was a.
From the US team.
From the U.S. team, it was really not all the way up. I mean, guys like Mike Burns and
nobody that became like a regular.
Kurt Onalfo and some of the guys from that team, but nobody that was that. Obviously Mike Burns had a long national team career and then went on at that stage, but
you find that quite a lot though, don't you?
Yeah.
From 16, 17, 18, the 19s, all that. So a lot of the guys fall by the wayside for whatever
Well,
reason.
they have decent careers, but it never
Right.
quite goes to
You're
the
not at the
heights
top
that
again.
you
It's tough to
kinda
get to the
think.
top.
Yeah.
You stay at the top.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I had there was a player from Brazil named Bismarck who won the Golden Ball. I'd won the Silver Ball, and then, but again, it wasn't like Bismarck then went on to be, this superstar for Brazil. I think he had a long career in Japan or something like that. But it is, to your point, and it gives let a lot of players understand that if you're not a star for your youth team, don't worry.
Yeah, it's not the end.
It's not the end of your career.
Did they have Golden Gloves then yet, or no?
Nope.
Pretty impressive that a goalie wins silver ball. That doesn't happen a lot.
No.
in youth tournaments.
I remember playing for the Scotland schoolboys under 15.
Basketball or football?
Football. And honestly, I used to look at some of these boys in awe and think, I can't do
Yeah.
that. I can't be, because
You weren't a big kid?
I wasn't a confident kid back then, and some of these boys from the big cities were marvellous players, and they didn't. Most of them went to senior clubs and didn't make the grade. So they got released at 18 years old and went back into whatever. It's amazing how, and to what Casey said, I always say to youngsters, everybody matures at a different age. Just because you're the small kid that's not good enough at 17 or 18 doesn't mean by 21 or 22 you'll not be there. It's just.
I almost think that the youth development
psychologist
is part of.
When am I going to get there?
Is if you get cut at under 17s, it's a motivation for everybody else.
Yeah.
If you get cut at under 20s, it's a motivation for everybody else. And then sometimes you also have that part where you think, oh, I've already made it.
Yeah.
At 18, 19, when you haven't.
Story you'll be well familiar with. Chicharito, famously cut from the Mexican U17 that won it all in 2005.
Well,
it's a well-known story, Craig. People still talk about it to this day. Next question. As a footballer, irrespective of the club wants, did you look forward to play for the national team, Craig? Did you ever have issues between your club and your country?
Irrespective of what the club wants. No club I ever played for tried to force me not to play for the national team. I didn't always look forward to playing for the national team because some of the games were friendlies. And if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't alone, I just hated friendlies because ultimately and subconsciously, you're there, but you're not. It's not the same commitment as major tournament qualifiers when the pressure is really on. And so I didn't enjoy the friendlies. I felt they were a little bit of a kind of happy-go-lucky,
I think sometimes too, if it's that friendly that's kind of in the middle of nothing. If it's a friendly preparing for a World Cup and you're kind of in that process, that's one thing. But if it's just like, all right, there's no game this weekend, let's throw this game here, and that happens. And yeah, and I had a couple issues at times where CONCACAF wasn't scheduling in the FIFA window with the Europeans, and so you'd have a World Cup qualifier, you'd have something, there'd still be a Premier League going on, and yeah, there was some conflict.
I remember coming here, playing friendlies on two occasions, once before Euro 96, and we came here again to the States before France 98 to prepare, and as Casey said, those friendlies are fine because you're in preparation mode for a major tournament.
We played against each other at 98, and it was
You're playing for spots, right? You're maybe playing for a spot.
But it's like, I remember playing against Australia at Hampden in a friendly in the middle of the season that was for nothing, and we had a good side actually, and we put a really experienced side out around, I can't remember the year, it might have been 97, I can't remember, 96, and they were, I can't remember, they beat us 2-0 or whatever, and the manager was going bananas, and we were like, who cares?
You're right.
Who cares? So it can be difficult.
Next question, will there be an MLS All-Star versus Liga MX All-Star game?
You could manage the Liga MX All-Stars.
Yeah.
That's your...
Who would win?
That could be your vocation in life.
And where is the best place for it? You don't think this is my vocation in life?
Well, I have my doubts.
Thanks for the boost.
Well, hold on, let me phone Bob Bradley.
Hold on, okay, all right.
Bob, do you think it's his vocation?
Well, there's a lot of talk between Liga MX and MLS having a lot more.
Who would win?
Well, but there's a lot more games going on back and forth.
Yeah, but an
between
All-Star
the
game,
two.
an All-Star game, because that's different than like, is your best team better than the other team's best team? Like, the 11, I think, of Liga MX wouldn't match up against MLS.
Well, I think they'd match up fine. I think it would be. I think
MLS spends so much more money on like the big names. Just the way the rosters are
Well, and I think some of that is just kind of the way that the salary works, and that they have that money to spend on those few players as opposed to where Liga MX can kind of spread that out more in the team. I think it would be very tightly matched. I think Liga MX still has a ton of stars, and obviously MLS is continually improving.
And guess what? All those big stars in Major League Soccer would all be playing where? Wide, attacking midfielder.
Right. Yes. Oh,
or,
yeah.
Or up front.
Yeah.
So I'd have to find a defence that was reasonable enough. You know what I mean? I think that's
no. It's
because I've been told that's how it's heavily
way
weighted.
better.
Well, I think it would have to be two-legged, right? You'd have to have one leg at Azteca. And
That's a game I wouldn't watch.
You would or wouldn't?
No, I said wouldn't.
Okay, you smack that in there.
Said it.
Okay, does Mr. Laurent prefer Julian or Jules? What do his mates call him? What do his kids call him? What does his mother call him?
Dad.
What does his wife call him? Jules, you want to explain?
Yeah, so Jules is fine. That's when I moved to London 15 years ago. That's what people started calling me when we were playing football and stuff like that. So Jules is cool. My name is Julien, but no one can say Julien properly in London or even in the States. So everybody says Julien. So that's fine as well. My kids call me Papa, obviously, and back home I'm also Juju, which again, J-U is hard for English people to say properly. So I'll take anything. I'm cool.
Juju.
That could be his new go-to name on the show here.
You never should have said
Wait
that.
till we tell Steve Nicol this week that he's now Juju.
All right, last question here. Is Seb worried about what the Chiefs and Chargers will do to the Estadio Azteca field for upcoming Liga MX games?
Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Last year they couldn't play.
Yeah, because the pitch was so bad, the NFL canceled it. So.
Yeah, I think they've got it under better control this year, though. They are heading into the playoffs in the Mexican League, so they better have the field right. You know, that's the home field to my Club America. So
of
very,
course.
very concerned.
I thought you were a
yours
DC,
and my Club.
I thought he was a DC United fan. He's just a bandwagon, just jumping on it. Whoever's
Hey,
good.
man.
I really love
Pay the
it.
bills
Are you a
this
big
week.
Liverpool